Hello, hello, hello. That's on? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lakeside Stadium for this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lakeside Stadium.
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Please welcome to the pitch, your South Melbourne Hellas.
Good evening and welcome to Lakeside Stadium. It's round 23 of the Senol NPL Victoria men's competition. Of course, it's South Melbourne taking on St Albans today, and two sides in pretty good form as well, both undefeated in their last 4 games. Of course, South Melbourne beating Oakley Cannons last week and St Albans beating Hume last week. For South Melbourne, 3 points would almost guarantee them a spot in finals. For St Albans, a win today would secure their place in the 2027 Senol NPL Victoria men's. My name's Ross Papadakis. I'm joined today by Arthur Akratitis. Arthur, how you going?
Absolutely great. What a great day for football. And like you said, both teams having great victories in the last week, and South Melbourne even a greater victory on Thursday night, which was only 3 days ago against Adelaide City here. And you'd have to say this game is very important to them, but it is just as important, as you said, to St Albans, because they don't want to be floating around with relegation zones. But they've done reasonably well this year, but South Melbourne have improved in the last few weeks after a shaky start after the OFC tournament, but now they're looking very, very sharp, and I'm really looking forward to this clash, and it's like bathed in sunshine, the ground. We can't go wrong.
It's great. Great conditions for some football. As mentioned, 2 teams already confirmed relegation as well. It's, of course, Green Gully and Dandenong Thunder, but we'll go through the lineups as South Melbourne start with Jake Charleston in between the sticks, number 20, followed by Marko Jankovic, Hassan Ramazani, David Yu, Geordie Swibble, Yuki Uchida, James Lakay, Aaron Cox, Tom Yanakopoulos, Enrico Mezzaruni, and Sebastian Pasquale. And for the visitors, it'll be Marco Bulic, Ajak Deo, Anthony Laban, Mikhail Platt, Josh Golevsky, Joseph Monek, Aaron Anderson, Jerome Sharan, Nicholas Koek, and Fletcher McFarlane. Of course, South Melbourne in their traditional blue and St Albans in the white.
Just still Jake Charlton in goal for South Melbourne. The injury to Lopez still has him away from the team, but the youngster's done quite well in the games that he's played this season, so it's a great development for him, as is this gentleman here. He's been absolutely brilliant, Ramazani.
Of course, coming over from Vanuatu on loan from the OFC Pro League, and of course made that team of the season as well there, so great signing for South Melbourne.
There's a few players missing from the clash from Thursday for South Melbourne, hence Andrew Mezzaruni coming in. So gets his chance today to try and score a goal or two for the home side. What do you think? What's your thoughts about this game, Ross? Do you think that the home side look the more potent, as I should say?
I mean, 3 changes, of course, to that side that beat Adelaide United, and if anyone's beating an A-League team and Oakley Cannons, who I guess undefeated in 4 months, it's probably leaning towards South Melbourne in a game like this, but football's football, and St Albans know they need a result out of this game, so it could really be anything. It feels like it could be a little bit of a 1-0, scrappy 1-0 result either way, to be honest, as Pasquale sends it over to Mezzarini and back the other way. There's Tom Yanakopoulos as well there, who's had to jump into centre-back in absence of Jacob Eliopoulos, and he's had a great couple of months as well in centre-back.
Yeah, Jacob's been injured yet again, unfortunately. Very good defender as South Melbourne go forward. Curling ball, surely! And it's just stopped in the nick of time by Bulik. And that's a good start there by Cox, who looked very dangerous cutting the ball across there. And that's the intentions, Ross. First up for South Melbourne.
Yeah, it was. Aaron Cox, we know what he can do, get in behind and run the ball down the line. Of course, you've got Jordy Swivel in the box there, as well as Yuki Uchida. And Jim Mazzarini's there as well. Of course, Bull Jawach on the bench as well. Saw that goal against Adelaide United. His first goal for the club since signing, as Marko Jankovic goes all the way back to Charleston. And he miskicks it. And it could be a chance here already for St. Albans. Been taken down. No penalty is the call into Jake Charleston's arms.
It looks like we jinxed him. Unfortunate, these things happen, but hope Jake's got the cobwebs out of his early game, should I say, distribution. Now, St. Albans thankfully are wearing that white top instead of the silver top they wore last time we played here, and we couldn't work out any of the numbers last season. It was horrendous.
It's a bit like Green Gully's kit as well. It's horrible.
Yeah, like it's last year there was silver top with light silver numbers. It was horrendous. As South Melbourne go forward again. Cox, he's turning inside out. Good ball. Reaching for Mezzaruni. Can he keep it in play? He couldn't. It was a bit of an effort there. The wind is going down the ground from right to left of screen. So it's favouring South Melbourne, and it's a matter of whether they can use that to their expense here of St. Albans, because you find that there's times that the ball can overrun and not go to feet as you would like. And South Melbourne in the last 6 months have stabilised themselves as a ball-playing team, like your Oakley Cannons and Humes, what have you, the ball-playing teams of the league, and also Preston for that matter, has seemed to rise to the top at the moment. So that's what we're looking at now. And another free kick. Deep ball in the box. Finds the ball away for a throw-in. And where is that man when you need him? Max Mikola.
Yes, Max Mikola, of course, I think absent due to injury today, and of course missed that Oakley Cannons and that Adelaide United game. You know the long balls that they can do, and here's Seb Pasquale, who will just send the ball over to Jordy Swivel. Back to Aaron Cox. He'll go himself, Aaron Cox! Just wide of the far post, and he's been dangerous already in the opening 5 minutes.
Marko Bulic scrambling to his left there. And, Cox has been absolutely brilliant early on here. First 5.5 minutes here, and he's been already the most dangerous player on the pitch.
Of course, coming over from Broadmeadow Magic in the Australian Championship, had quite a good game against South Melbourne. You could probably think that's probably the reason why they signed him, but of course he's played a number of games as well for South Melbourne in 3 ongoing competitions for them. Of course, last time these two played each other, it was a 4-0 win to South Melbourne in round 10, and they've won 14 of the last 17, South Melbourne, so just the one win for St. Albans in this game.
It's going to be interesting to see what the scenarios are after this season with Australia Cup. I'm not sure. Will they be playing the OFC League again?
I mean, I think so. It sounds like they would be. Of course, we do know that the like of Hassan Ramazani and Alex Sanyul and David Yu, of course, are all people that have come over from other OFC Pro League teams. Hassan Ramazani, of course, on loan. So you would assume he returns to his parent club at the end of his loan, and that wouldn't make you think that there is a competition. Whether South Melbourne's in it, we await for official confirmation, but it came oh so close to winning it, so I think they'll probably want to go back and win the whole thing.
Yeah, they did quite well, and Wellington, or Auckland should I say, winning that in the end, 2-1. And great showing by South Melbourne in that league, and showing the upwards trajectory of South Melbourne ever since Sinisa Kunhajic took over as coach. And there's that man Cox again, trying to find a way forward. Chance now to go forward. Yoshida, back to Cox. Not a good ball, though. Reaching for it. He's been quite good as well, Yoshida.
Yeah, Yuki's, of course, scored that winner against Adelaide United as well, and pretty much saved them from going extra time. It was a very late goal that made them progress. Of course, the game now next Sunday against Fremantle City. So they've got a little bit of time to rest, hence the rotated squad. Of course, Jack Painter-Andrews, Bull Jawach and Paolo Retre dropped to the bench for this game, but they, of course, started last week as Ramazani. There was a nice turn through to Pasquale, but here's St. Albans now with the chance to drive. Josh Golevsky goes down to Koek with the cross. And the follow-up is almost in, but it's cleared away by David Yu. And Jake Charleston still trying to clear the cobwebs.
I'll tell you what, Charleston was lucky there. He did reach for the ball, but seemed to palm it in front of him. And luckily for South, there was no St. Albans player there to put it away. But that was good work there on the right-hand side. And it's a chance gone begging for St. Albans. Some good work there by Coke. Now, Ramazani trying to push Pasquale forward, and he's had a good season, Pasquale. Some quality work from him. There's Ramazani again. Seems to be very comfortable on the ball. And remember the days of yesteryear where an A. Postacoglu used to play in that position. Left back. Now it's Hassan Ramazani taking over the mantle. Good ball across. And a chance now for Lackey, who's twisting and turning his way through. The time is gone. They've felt each other out. There's 10 minutes gone in this game. We've had a couple of chances. And unfortunately there for James Lackey, he couldn't get the rebound.
Yeah, of course. Hassan Ramazani's got to move over to left back due to injury to Jordan Lampard, of course. Also missed that Adelaide United game, and it's a very similar backline to what did beat Adelaide, of course, rather than Jack Painter-Andrews as well. Of course, they do have Richard and Como on the bench, Paolo Retre, Andres Skopoulos.
Good old Andre Skopoulos, youngster,
yes,
who started here at South Melbourne. The son of my friend Nicholas. Great to see the youngster doing well. He's had a bit of a bad run with some injuries, but he's back on the bench for South Melbourne, and he's a very exciting midfield come forward. When he has played for South Melbourne, he's been very, very effective. And now St. Albans have a corner. Chance to curl it up to the back post, and a good catch there by Charlton. And he's cleared it away. Not a great clearance, but still effective. And the ball played grandstand side of the ground out for a throw into St. Albans.
Yeah, it's been very up and back already, this game. Just 12 gone, and just, I think St. Albans with the real big chance to get ahead. Right, bar that Aaron Cox long ranger, but they will have a throw in now with to McFulton. There's a whole play.
Thomas Yanakopoulos is changing his jumper there. It must have been a scenario with blood or what have you. Not too sure.
Yeah, unsure what happened there, but Marko Jankovic gets us back underway. Lake jumps and back to Ramazani now, who will send the long ball over to Geordie Swivel. It's cleared by Ajak Deo. Down to McFarlane.
I think he's got the number 6 jumper on now.
Oh, he's swapped shirts. It's interesting. We'll try work out what's going on there, and we'll get back to you guys. But looks like already St Albans, Marko Bulic, who goes backwards now to Nicholas Kowek. Over now to Deo. Back to Anderson, and then over to Bulic again. Then long ball. Headed by Marko Jankovic once again. Down to Gulevski. Here's Anderson. Takes around but can't get around. Yuki does get around second man, and here's St Albans now with a chance to drive. But Sebastian Pasquale's professionally turns, and it's a good foul to give away.
Why he didn't allow play on there was beyond me. He had full control of the ball. Pasquale played it to Yoshida, and in the end it got pulled back. It's these times it's normally allowed to play on, but wasn't allowed at that time. Charlton asking for the ball again. Ball played wide again. And South Melbourne try and build up from the far side again. Not the greatest ball, but somehow found lucky. Goes central. Pasquale. Searching ball. And in the end, a little bit too far for Cox.
Yeah, I think he's almost done well. It was a great swap by Lucky, but Aaron Cox couldn't quite reach that, and he's good opening 15 minutes as well so far, and he's looked great, especially at home as well. Aaron Cox, he loves a good long ranger with his right foot. As we go back the other way now with St Albans, he slots a through ball through to Kowek, and Jack Charleston gets down very nice and quickly. Could have almost been 1-0 to St Albans again through Nicholas Kowek. Yanakopoulos.
Probably a good warning to South Melbourne that St Albans are here to play.
There's Ramazani. Jankovic. Over to Yanakopoulos. Who's some confidence to drive forward and finds Lucky across to Swivel, but back now the other way is Yanakopoulos. Of course, the July rising star, Thomas Yanakopoulos, alongside the likes of Lawrence Wong, Anthony Laban as well. Labib, the like. To Ramazani now. He will find Cox down the line, who will now run. He's got Golevski in front of him and manages to find Pasquale. Over to Yanakopoulos. Pasquale again. Here's the captain, Marko Jankovic. Ever present for South Melbourne as well, Marko Jankovic. Of course, traditionally alongside Jake Marshall, who of course left the club at the end of last season. Now it's Jacob Eliopoulos in his place. Of course, hasn't played since that OFC Pro League final.
Bit of a lull the game at the moment after a couple of chances for both sides. And you'd have to say that surely there could come a time in this game where South Melbourne need to bring on fresh troops, because they did play a game on Thursday and a few of these players did play. So they're going to need some rejuvenation, and that could also fall in the hands of St Albans, because they obviously did not play midweek, as did South Melbourne 3 days ago. And we're certainly not like the English or overseas leagues, Ross, that the players are, regularly playing twice a week.
Yes, thankfully towards the end of the season for some middle to lower end teams in the league. Guys, we'll just hold for a second as David Yu strikes some range, but it's clear defensively. And yeah, of course, St Albans, as mentioned, the win today would secure their place in next season's Senol NPL men's. And South Melbourne not quite guaranteed finals just yet, as Cox looks to unleash one from range, but goes over to Lackey. Around the first, and taken down is the St Albans player.
The referee gave a free kick there. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but might have had a stray hand. Nearly 20 gone here. It's 0-0 at Lakeside Oval. I challenge anyone to tell me a more beautiful day, winter's day here at Lakeside Oval. Beautiful winter weather. We've had some absolute cracking days, and not a normal scenario. Normally very, very cold, especially of an evening here next to the lake.
Offside, I think that was, by the referee.
Bit of a cheerio to former South Melbourne legend John Canisoulis, who is watching the game from afar. He told me today that he will be watching and cheering on his former team.
Of course, referees for today, David Zushech, Thomas Fell, Abdullah Al-Ali, Thomas Dawson, and Yanni Malidas as the fourth official. Tom Fell, the centre referee, rather. David Zushech is the match commissioner, but going the other way now as Adjo through the middle to find Monek. He's dispossessed by James Lackey, and here's Swibble now, who does love to strike from range, but finds Yuki out wide. Around the first by Yuki Uchida. Across the face. Almost over the top of Marco Bulic, and the ball will be kept in by Enrico Mezzaruni. Taken down, and he will get a free kick out of it as well. He loves to score a free kick as well. Enrico Mezzaruni did score a couple in that OFC Pro League.
No doubt this is dangerous scenario here. Mezzaruni can take a free kick. We've seen some spectacular goals by Andrew Mezzaruni. He's scored some ripper goals. He's more than capable of putting the ball away, but I doubt he'll go from here and go for a shot. He'll no doubt try and pinpoint a good ball into the box as we await here. The wind blowing down the ground. Curling ball. Good ball at that. Cleared away to safety. The shot And that's skewed right away for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was Sebastian Pasquale there. Just scored one professional goal for South Melbourne, I guess, senior goal, rather. Of course, he did score one in the OFC Pro League as well, but to score a massive long ranger against Bentleigh Greens. I think it was Dandy City, rather, actually, but it was his first in senior men's football. Of course, signing for Ajax Amsterdam very early in his football career. And ball's just sent out for another throw to South Melbourne. And it will be Aaron Cox to take this one.
Cox needs to get back into this game. He started off like a house on fire, and they need to really ensure they get him into the game because he is really the key to success here. And again, the ball a little bit too long for that man, Lucky. He's had a bit of space in front of him there, and it could have been a chance to go forward. And business end of the season, there's 3 games left. And then we have finals. Chance now for St. Albans. Twisting, turning. Some good work there. And ultimately, South get the throw. Not too happy there. I think it's Sushi Inov.
Yeah, of course, looking ahead as well for South Melbourne. It's a game, of course, on Sunday against Fremantle City, but they do play Melbourne City after that. And then Heidelberg United at home, followed by Caroline Springs on the final day. For St. Albans, it's Bentleigh Greens next week, followed by Green Gully, followed by Dandenong Thunder. So they do have the easy run of games in the back end of the season. Of course, already 2 guaranteed relegation sides, but doesn't mean anything, I guess, in this sort of end of the season, as David Yu tries to slot Geordie Swivel through, and there will be the goalkeeper in Marco Bullock to just keep possession of the ball.
And as we speak, really the only one that can survive is Bentleigh Greens if everything goes their way. They can ill afford to lose another game. They did get a draw the other day against very strong Oakley. And Oakley Cannons on top of the Senol NPL ladder. 5 points clear of Hume City. Should the Cannons get it? Looks like maybe 4 points they'll win the Premier's Plate, which would be a great achievement by Chris Taylor's men. As St. Albans pushing the ball away. Still in the base of play here. Doing some good work there. And free kick to Lucky. He's been in the game a fair bit there, Ross. Lucky, he's going back and helping the defence a fair few times on that right-hand side there.
He's a bit of a defensive-minded player as well. Of course, spent a few games last season for Melbourne Victory playing a bit of a more defensive role, but good to see him out wide, and he has that defensive nature to him, as Charleston will take this free kick.
Trying to gain a few extra metres there. Typical goalkeeper.
Of course, undefeated as well in between the sticks for South Melbourne. He's had some difficult games to...
Pretty good stat for him.
It is.
It's good to see the young goalkeeper doing well. There was one game here that he was outstanding about 2 or 3 weeks back.
Of course, he did concede that goal against Craig Goodwin very early into that game against Adelaide United, but it's Craig Goodwin, so no, I guess, complaints about his goalkeeping in that game. And then, of course, Oakley Cannons, who scored quite a few goals this season as well, but done very well to just concede one against them, one against Adelaide, and then, of course, it's a clean sheet today so far.
Yeah, he did quite well in that game against Oakley. There was a scissor kick that almost went in as South Melbourne go forward now. And trying to find a way through. Pasquale plays it back to Lucky. Can he get the ball in the box? He's got some twisting and turning. Great work. And Bullich does well to get across and mop up. And does some good work. Cox. No one there for South Melbourne, though. Now they're getting their numbers through. Ball central. Pasquale. Can he find an opening? Finds that man. Lucky. Here he goes again. Good work down that right-hand side. Pushed aside. And the corner wasn't given. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, of course. He's got Johnny Swivel in the box there, who got quite a few close ranges. He's a bit of a fox in the box for South Melbourne, predominantly in the OFC, of course. He's got 5 goals to his name this season. A couple of long ranges, a couple balls in and around the box. Can really make something out of nothing, Geordie Swivel. Of course, Paul Jawach on the bench as well. Scored his first goal last week for South Melbourne against Adelaide United.
What a goal that was.
A brilliant goal, of course, yes.
Absolutely tremendous effort. Those kind of goals you want to see here. And it set the stand on the far side on fire, really. It was absolutely brilliant. And just kept on getting just how good South Melbourne played that day. They were certainly the team that wanted to play football that day. I mean, we get it that the A-League teams are in their off-season and they're only building up, but you can't take away that victory from South. And from Preston as well, when they won a great game there, 3-2 against the Jets. What a great scenes there as well, Connor Reserve. And now we're here at Lakeside with St Albans trying to find a way through. Goal kick given. 30 minutes gone, Ross. It's a bit of a cat and mouse scenario. South Melbourne probably the little more fluent team at the moment.
It is, of course. They're very possession-based football on the Shanice sides. Mezzarini!
It's in!
Already opens the scoring.
Snapshot!
Wow.
Just a really good effort. He turned and hit it first time and really caught Bullich really flat-footed. There's nothing he could have done there.
Yeah, it was something out of nothing, as we mentioned, and took us there by surprise as well, didn't it, Arthur? But we know the quality he's got, and he's just shown it there.
Well, I tell you what, and the job he's done for him, he's come in to score a goal, and he's done that, the youngster. And great work from him. But there was good work closing the players down there, hence causing that ball to spill. As our friend Neil Simons goes absolutely ballistic here at Lakeside as South Melbourne go 1 up. Our friend Neil, obviously a fellow commentator, doing the announcing here at Lakeside today. And I love his exuberance.
As always as well, of course, that was very excited when, of course, South Melbourne beat Adelaide United, and he was all over the shop, of course, on the pitch that time rather than in the media box. But what a sight that was.
I thought he's certainly become very animated and very joyous as these kind of goals go in. Certainly reminds me of a young me back in the day. And that's great to see. Our friend Neil. Great goal for Andrigo Mezzaruni. He's come off the bench a few times and started a few games, and I think he's getting better and better fitting into South Melbourne's mould. It's obviously the more games you play, the better you get, and we know how deadly he is with a set piece. Sometimes strikers can do nothing all game, but when they score with chance that he got, that really answers the question.
Of course, it was that high pressure as well by that South Melbourne front line that really put Marko Bulic under pressure and the back line under pressure. And, of course, it's Enrico Mezzarini who did capitalise off that as Nick Koech tries to find his way through, but Sebastian Pasquale does slot it all the way through to David Yu, who's dispossessed. Goes back the other way now to Jerome Sharan. It's a long range. Over to Nick Koech. Of course, it's Enrico Mezzarini's first goal for his NPL campaign as well. Of course, he's missed a few due to, of course, OFC commitments and the like, but did score 4 goals in the OFC Pro League, I think there were. Most of them were free kicks, but...
Yeah, he did score a few. And he scored a few when the squad was basically split from here to there.
There's one thing about Enrico Mezzarini as well. He scores when it matters most, really, for South Melbourne. He did score a couple goals that really gave him all 3 points in that OFC campaign. It could be the goal that decides this game too.
Ball pushed forward a little bit too deep, and Bulic, who couldn't do nothing with that goal, and there's a bit of a mix-up here already. Bulic plays the ball, and that's a free kick to South Melbourne, and taken early. Lake is wide, and unfortunately for you, he couldn't hold the ball back, and a yellow's coming out. Probably rightly so. To Pasquale, and they were complaining that why wasn't a yellow given for the opposite challenge the other way. I think this was a little more viewing, when you view it, it's probably a little more harsh for St Albans not being allowed to play the game as they would like. Ball gets played across now. Charge down. Kulusevski does well. Deep ball in the box, headed away by that man Lucky. You think he's playing right back instead of right wing. Diving in. Doe. Again in the box. Only cleared away just to Monac. Monac does well. Platt. And the throw into South Melbourne.
Of course, Enrico Mezzarini as well did spend some time in Greece, in Spain as well as coming back home to Kingston, Port Melbourne Sharks, and then, of course, returning to South Melbourne. So he's been around the globe, and he's actually fluent in Spanish as well, surprisingly.
Some experience there, no doubt.
Of course, a boyhood Hellas boy through and through, as St Albans try to go the other way. He's slots it through to Nick Koech. He can't quite reach that ball out wide, and it does go out for a goal kick with Jake Charleston.
38 minutes gone here. Ross and South Melbourne, the home side, 1-0 up, and probably a deserved lead at the moment. Even though the game's been void of that many chances. Probably the more... Both teams are playing positive football, though, I must say. It's not so dour. Good turn there. Chance now for St Albans. Great work on the far side. Charged down just in the nick of time there by Pasquale. South Melbourne now switching play. Yoshida plays it wide. Cox. Not the greatest of balls. Doe now. He's got acres of space in front of him. He's using it. Chance. Again, switching play. Anderson plays it forward. Gets a Gulasevsky. Good through ball. And a chance now, and the offside flag's gone up. And a good effort. Ultimately, Charleston did well coming off his line, but the flag was way up before that. And ultimately, some good football there by Gulasevsky. And as I said, they're certainly not hanging back St Albans, and that's what you want to see. No use sitting back trying to get South Melbourne on the break. They're aiming forward straight away. And Doe was really good at going forward there, using Gulasevsky, and then the through ball only marginally offside.
Yeah, of course, they did go 2-1 down at one point against Hume City and then brought the game back to 3-2. And credit to, of course, South Melbourne as well. They do tend to be more comfortable when they do lead football matches, as Lackey tries to send the ball across to Mezzarini again. And Nico Mezzarini with a brace.
What a magic goal that was. I don't think you'll see a better goal this season. Twisting, turning, and that is an absolute brace from Mezzarini. You've got to take your hat off to him. That is a quality finish.
Yeah, he loves the football club, and it really shows in the way he's playing today. It's just give him the ball and he can make magic, and Enrico Mezzarini, take a bow, my son.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's a goal for South Melbourne, Hellas. Scored by number 19, yet again, Enrico Mezzarini.
Now the question is, Ross, can he get a hat-trick? Which will be absolutely brilliant for him. 40 minutes in, and the home side, all of a sudden, are 2-0 up. And there'd be no happier man than his father up in the grandstands seeing those two goals. And my old school buddy, Bill Papastergiadis, he'd be even happier. South Melbourne president.
Co-president.
Combined scenario there with Mr. Mezzarini, Senior.
Just 2 goals for Enrico this campaign, of course. Just played 11 games, of course, including time off the bench. It was 6 goals in the OFC Pro League with 3 assists. So, quite a good campaign in Oceania. It's just his 3rd start this season as well. A start against Green Gully and a start against Hume City. Of course, that's purely just in the NPL, but race today.
A bit of a shout out also to my old fellow cohort from the old TVH days, Simon McCluskey, sending a message to us and saying hello. Simon, miss you, buddy. Thanks for the messages. It's great to hear from you.
Looks like it just a halt in play now as a player goes down injured. Just under 2.5 to go of this half as well.
There certainly will be. Will there be a substitution? Certainly spent a few games here with Simon commentating with me. Some big games here, and also Middle Park, the old Middle Park. And some great days there with my old cohort. And Simon, these days, an absolute legend of an MC, working his art. Certainly one of the greatest commentators I've worked with. Ball gets thumped up long and it's out for a throw. And Buich now, he's having trouble with this ball, playing it a little bit too early. Now, South Melbourne, can they punish St Albans again? Certainly, this man Cox could find his way through. Yoshida, the ball gone out, did go out. Good sportsmanship there by Doe with Yoshida. And that wind is, it is pretty strong. Having played this morning myself, Ross, down at Dendy Park, I must say I was quite surprised with how strong the wind was. And similar setup to South Melbourne, the wind was going down the ground, and the first half, the ball was up in our way pretty much for 60% of the game. But my boys from the Chisholm Thirds come up trumps 6-2 against Brighton.
The fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
It's a good win by my fellow cohorts, and also, not to mention my Chisholm seniors winning 3-0, beating the top team, Brandon Park, on Friday night. Dom D'Angelo and the boys doing the business against the top team, Brandon Park. Hello to them too, all the boys there. They're watching now, no doubt. St Albans not really finding a way through, and they've been forced with the press all the way up the park, but now Ramazani does well and gets it away for a throw.
Yeah, it was the fourth official there that indicated just a minimum of 2 minutes to be added on in this first half. And it's games like these for, I guess, South Melbourne now looking at this game. It's a game that you can really boost your goal difference. We do know they went through a little bit of that difficult period where they had to play their under-23s, and they did go through a few games where they lost 4-0, lost 5-0, lost 3-0. So it's games like these you'd think would get them back up. They do sit on a +2 goal difference. It might come down to the final day where goal difference is really a key factor in who plays who in the finals. Of course, as things stand, it would be against Preston Lions so far.
And wouldn't that be an absolute showpiece again? Chance to clear. Can St Albans get something from this half? Twisting, turning. Offside flag has gone up. And that's a bit of a surprising one, a bit late. But the linesman must have waited to see if it was going to be cleared by the South Melbourne players, but should have been really stopped a lot earlier, I think.
Yeah, I think Nick Koek's been a little bit unlucky this game. He's found himself in good positions to really make something out of it. Of course, he had that chance really early as well, where Jake Charleston was still clearing the cobwebs off his gloves, but he's had a couple other chances today as the referee blows for half-time here at Lakeside Stadium.
Half-time at Lakeside Stadium between South Melbourne FC
Absolutely
and St Albans Dynamo.
great start by the home side. They walk in
Just a reminder,
with two goals from Andrew Mezzaruni.
Next week on Sunday the 9th.
And as we're advised, Sunday the 9th next week, South Melbourne play Fremantle City at Lakeside Reserve.
Tickets will be on sale tomorrow, all across South Melbourne FC's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for further details.
We'll go for a few messages from our sponsors, and we'll see you in the second half in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lakeside Stadium for the second half of this round 23 clash between St Albans and South Melbourne. Of course, it's 2-0 to the home side, South Melbourne. A brace for Enrico Mezzarini. Two very beautiful goals as well, and what a sight they've been so far. I'm Ross Papadakis, joined again for the second half by Arthur Akratides.
Absolutely intriguing second half here, and St Albans need to throw everything they can now with the wind to South Melbourne. And that could also cause a few gaps in the defensive lines, which could spell disaster for St Albans if they do that. So, a bit of a catch-22 situation as we're just about to start proceedings here for the second half. Probably a smaller crowd than expected today, and that probably being because of the great crowd that was here on Thursday night. The weather's certainly conducive to a big crowd, but let's face it, you wouldn't blame anyone from trying to make the most of this kind of weather in a winter's day. Absolutely beautiful day. I can't remember it being so nice in the winter for quite a while. Biwich's ball is wasted basically all the way back to Charleston, who in turn has played the ball out. Lucky trying to win the ball. He's put his arms up and he's got it now. He can go in central if he wants. Yoshida, he does well. Switches play. Cox, and he couldn't keep it in play. Good effort.
Of course, yeah, we saw Aaron Cox quite good little 15 minutes stint at the start of this first half, and I think we can expect to see more of the same for him, as well as the like of Yuki Uchida and Hassan Ramazani, progressive down that left-hand side as well, of course, in place of Jordan Lampard. But Tommy Yanakopoulos has his kit back as well. He did change shirt numbers momentarily, but good to see he's got his corrected number on the back of his shirt now, and it will be, I think, a free kick again.
I reckon it could have been a blood rule. There must have been some blood on the jumper, and probably enough time to get it washed and dried in time for him to re-wear it. Don't know if we've got the luxury of, like we do in the World Cup, where there's 5 or 6 kits available where they change jumpers every half. And South Melbourne now trying to really bring it on home here. Cox, ball in the box, not the greatest ball. Lucky. Not a good ball there, and gives away a free kick.
Yeah, I think he's a bit unlucky with that late challenge there. It just turned a bit too late for his liking in Yulevski, but it's underway again with Fletcher McFarlane, who finds Bullock. Of course, we saw South Melbourne as well in that Australia Cup game. They did play with name sets as well. They had the names on the back of the shirt, which is a nice touch for them. So maybe they do have more than one shirt, potentially, but Giannakopoulos now.
It's not a bad idea. Back to the heyday of the old NSL. To be honest with you, I don't know why that's not the case even now.
It should be.
Not the greatest ball there. And mopped up by Charleston. Yeah, the names really should be on the jumpers. I can't see the problem of having that, but powers that be obviously don't. It's not a common thing. I mean, they're even talking about doing it for the football.
Yeah.
And if they're, trying to emulate our football, of the round game football, as St Albans now trying to dig their way out of this depth of despair they're in. Changing, twisting, turning. But no way out at the moment. South Melbourne doing it comfortably. Oh, that looked like a foul throw there. It seemed like an old under-10s throw, that one, Ross.
Yeah, it's the first thing you learn, isn't it, when you play, I guess, a bigger football rather than the little small-sided football. And Ramazani just bounces it off the St Albans attacker and out for a goal kick.
I'm looking at that stadium, Ross, that stadium there, back in the day when I was primary school, we used to come here and watch South Melbourne, the Bloods, play.
There you go.
And we used to go in those dressing rooms down at the base of it, obviously, and we used to go and drink, back in those days, what it was sustagen.
Ah, yes.
From the players. We used to go and mingle with them. There is no way known you'd be able to do that now.
Yeah, I'm quite a bit younger than you, Arthur, but my earliest memories of Lakeside Stadium is here as a runner, playing as a state runner back in my day, but my only memory of Lakeside Stadium is that I don't really recall Middle Park or Olympic Park for that matter, but...
No, it was great times playing on those kind of grounds, I'll tell you, as St Albans try and dig their way out of here. And Lucky got it away, but only as far as Monarch. He's still going, Monarch. Ball across the box and almost tried to catch out Charleston on the right-hand post. And good save by the youngster with his right foot, but it's still in play. And South Melbourne hack it away haphazardly. There's a good effort there, Ross.
Yeah, I think he's making a genuine case to keep Javi Lopez out of the squad when he does return from injury. He's had a couple good games. I know that Javi's a stalwart for South Melbourne in recent years, and he's getting a little bit on in age now. I think the 35-year-old, but Jake Charleston's really putting up a good case to remain in between the sticks for South Melbourne. And I guess fixture congestion coming up is someone that you can definitely trust.
Yeah, 35 isn't that old for a goalkeeper, Ross, I must say. But, yep, it's good to see the youngsters has done well. He's probably been the best backup keeper they've had for quite a while. South Melbourne now. Chance and cleared away. Right in the nick of time there. And Bullich was very ropeable with his defence. What's he complaining about? It was certainly a corner. And now he's screaming and pushing with a couple of the South players. He certainly was a corner, that. And he's told him to come over, the referee. He's not taking any of this... He's called in both him and Mezzaruni, is it? Or no, it's Swibble.
Of course, looking to the bench for either side. St Albans, they do have Lockie Weir, Joseph Kolina, Marko Martinovic, Alex Separovsky, Abdul Malik Saleh. South Melbourne, Richard Nkomo, Paolo Retre, Bull Jawach, Andres Kapoulis, Jack Painter-Andrews. You can probably imagine the like of Andres Kapoulis would probably come on, get some minutes under his belt, as Mezzarini ends up to take the short corner to David Yu with the cross. Still with, but not out of danger just yet, as Pasquale knocks it on, and offside is the call by the fourth official.
Offside.
Interesting.
Can't see how that would have been offside, really. I could see maybe a foul on the goalkeeper, but not offside. Or maybe that's where he was showing the flag.
Yanakopoulos. He's actually got a different shirt number. Of course, he's wearing 23 now. He traditionally wears number 17, so he's changed his whole kit.
Absolutely been bamboozled by the number changes. He's had 3 numbers in one game. Must say, 23 is one of my favourite numbers. And chance now for South Melbourne. Good little twist and turn. Surely. Oh, it's hit it into his own player. I don't know if that was meant.
And I think Mezzarini may have just had eyes on the goal. Of course,
that third
already.
Goal, hat trick.
Yes.
And you can't blame him. If that goes in, he will be beside himself. Which, in the all-orange kit, which is almost like one of those roadside assist workers, seriously glowing in the dark almost.
Looks a bit like my highlighter I've got right now. So
there is no way known I'd wear that as a keeper. Not in a million years.
Good turn by Yanakopoulos and manages to push that ball out of play off Josh Golevsky. And there will be a throw-in again this time with James Lackey.
Lackey, he's been in the game a fair bit. He's done quite well, I think. But obviously some 11 minutes into this second half. South Melbourne go forward. Does well. But how well? The referee has allowed play on and twisting, and the ball's been won again. There's a few challenges go there, and the referee has stopped play for maybe some assistance to Lackey.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a late challenge. I think maybe they were trying to have their advantage, not play it on and get that call. But I think the original challenge by Seb Pasquale was a little bit 50-50 as well, but it will be a throw-in regardless. He does go long.
So what do you think, Ross, from what you've seen so far this season? Obviously, I mean, the best football I've seen has been from the Cannons, and this is from only who I've seen physically from commentating. Cannons, South Melbourne, and Hume has done quite well as well. It's going to be an interesting final series.
It will be. I think it's very hard to look past Ugly Cannons in the way they've been playing football. They've really dominated the NPL Victoria this season. Of course, that one loss in just about 4 months of football is a crazy stat to think about. Of course. And then you look at the team that beat them, which was South Melbourne, and then you think if they can beat Oakley, then you would assume they'd be the best team in the league. And I think the amount of football they've played this season, I think it's coming up to 45 games since the start of the Australian Championship, and credit to the players, I think, for really putting everything on the line for this football club. And it's got to be thinking one of those three that really played the best football in the league. Heidelberg's dropped off a little bit as well.
Let's not forget Heidelberg. They might be going through a bad trot, but they can play football. They get going, they're going to be hard to stop themselves. Lucky. He's done well in the box with a bit of pace. A little bit too much pace, probably. And no one could get a touch on that ball.
Yeah, I think he's done very well there. We saw a similar type of link-up play in that Adelaide game as Hassan Ramazani ran down that left-hand side and found David Yu's head onto Yuki Uchida. But he's creating something, and that's the most important thing, I think, for James Lackey today. As here he is again. Finds it over to David Yu, down to Uchida, over to Marco Bulic. Of course, they do have Christian Rossi on the bench as well. St. Albans, of course, the former Altona Magic goalkeeper. Previously of Box Hill as well, Werribee and Richmond. And here's Koek again. He'll go against him, and it will be a throw again for South Melbourne.
You can't say that he had any chance in both those strikes. He's done okay other than that, but South Melbourne now. Chance to add to their tally. Ball's deep in the box, and it's hit the top of the bar and gone over. Great ball again, and Jordan Sybil almost made it 3.
I think he's very unlucky for that not to go in, but Geordie's almost got a goal here. He'd want one as well. He's been a couple games without one. And when you've got the raging Bull Duach on your bench, breathing down your neck, I think you'll really want to perform out of this game. As you can have a chance now as David Yu goes on the outside, back around the outside and strike from range. David Yu over the bar.
Ripping drive there. Twisting, turning it. It's very picturesque there. And you just sense that South Melbourne are looking a lot more dangerous now. It's almost like they've flicked the switch. And a little more urgency by them rather than the opposite side, who are down 2-0.
Yeah, Geordie's football. Yep.
Chasing back by Cox there.
Yeah, it's just looking at Geordie's football, of course, hasn't scored since that 2-1 loss to Green Gully. It's been on 4 game weeks in the NPL. Of course, didn't play enough to really have a go of that, but
double substitution there.
Triple change for St. Albans Dynamo.
No, triple change.
Coming off number 14, Atsusi Inoue. Number 17, Fletcher McFarlane. And number 11, Joseph Monek.
3 substitutes there. Lachlan Weir comes in. Ball into the box, cleared away.
also Joseph Kolina comes on as well, number 8.
It's a popular name in the Croatian community.
And it looks like number 16, Michael Martinovic, has also come on.
What can they do to help the cause here? Plenty of time left if they're good enough. But as I said to you, the more likely team to score at the moment is South Melbourne, and they've been a lot more dangerous this second half. And the ball's ricocheted off Charleston's chest. I think it was a deflection. In the end, the body behind the ball rule did work for that goalkeeper. Not what you call technical brilliance, but still effective.
Yeah, it was confirmation of those changes. Lockie Weir on, Joseph Collina on, Michael Martinovic off, on, Atsushi Inui, Fletcher McFarlane and Joseph Monek off. So it's 3 changes in 1 for St. Albans. South Melbourne still yet to look to their bench as a...
Coming on for St. Albans Dynamo, number 4, Lachlan Weir, number 8, Joseph Cholina, number 16, Michael Martinovic.
Free kick for St Albans now.
Dangerous position with this wind, Ross.
Cross comes in. It's headed away by David Yu. Not out of danger as a cross can come in, but Yuki Uchida goes backwards, and there's Mezzaruni chasing. But doesn't quite reach that ball either. It will be another throw for St Albans. Goes short to Colina. He does have Lockie Weir ahead of him, but opts to go backwards to Ajak Gio. Through to Cholina. It's taken off him by Sebastian Pasquale. Over to Yu. Quick feet by Yu. Does once again get dispossessed as turn is nice by Mikel Platt. Goes over to Kalina. Out wide is still Nick Koek. Does go back to Uchida. He will drive once again. Does have options forward. He does go himself down to Geordie Swibble, who won't quite reach it, and it will go out for another throw.
Almost in slow-mo replay there. It wasn't the quickest ball, but obviously got away. We've played just on 20 minutes in this second half. And the game's basically still in the hands of South Melbourne. The thrust forward there by St Albans. It was an offside position, but allowed play on. Now South Melbourne. Chance for Mezzaruni. Can he get behind? The shot into the arms of Buick. Probably his non-preferred right foot, but did well because he twisted and turned and got the ball somehow.
I think he may have potentially overthought that a little bit too much. I think he had a little bit more time than he would have thought originally. But
I think you're
turn
right
and
there.
shoot like the last one, but yeah.
Had he realised how much time he had, he might have even walked it in.
And then it would have been talking about the hat-trick that Enrico Mezzaruni scored for South Melbourne, but not to be just yet. He's still got time, of course. But
not many people can say they've done that.
I don't think so. I can't remember one off the top of my head, really, apart from probably most recently Harry Sawyer, but Milos Lujic maybe as well.
Harry Sawyer, now a victory player.
Yes.
Which is great to see. Former South Melbourne centre forward.
Yeah, scored a 3-minute hat-trick in pre-season for them against Caroline Springs George Cross, which was quite cool to see.
Good way to start your victory account. Certainly a effective player and getting his just rewards now after a couple of years with MacArthur FC. As the shadows hit the ground here at Lakeside Oval. I was about to call it Bob Jones Stadium, which it was originally. Yeah, I mean, St Albans trying to open up their account, but not really being successful at the moment. South Melbourne, you'd have to say, are doing things a lot easier. Finding the gaps. Going forward. And good work there by you. Loses the ball though. And now St Albans trying to chisel their way forward. Twist and turn by Platt. Not have been allowed to play the ball into the open spaces. They're trying to recycle it here and come out the other way. Buick plays it to Weir. Good work there to hold up the play. Yoshida, who's been a little quiet today, to be honest with you. Not normal for him to be so quiet.
It isn't, yeah. I think he's played a majority of the season playing in that number 10 role and I guess alternating with David Yu out on that left-hand side. And I think he's been a little bit more quiet in that number 10 role as well. We know what he can do with a football at his feet. So very interested to see what he can potentially do if he gets a little bit more freedom to work with. I can see Bull Jawach on the sideline as well. Ready to come on, but St. Albans have a sub.
Coming off, number 19, Jerome Charan. And coming on, number 21, Abdul Malik Saleh.
And that's a change for St. Albans Saints. It was coming on Abdul Malik Saleh.
Substitution for South Melbourne FC. Coming off, number 19, Abdul Mezaruni. And coming on, number 10, Bull Jawach.
Goal scorer coming off.
It is
Bull Jawach coming on.
Correction, coming off, number 9, Jordan Swivel. And coming on, number 10, Bull Jawach.
Okay, there's a bit of a...
What are we doing here? We don't know what's going on. It's Sybil coming off, not Mezzaruni. He's been told to stay on. Get your hat-trick, son.
It will be Bull Jawach coming on, though.
Yep.
So
but Mezzaruni's staying on.
One more South Melbourne player on the sideline, though. So potentially a Paolo Retre, maybe. A Jack Painter-Andrews. Looks like someone blonde, so I assume maybe Jack Painter-Andrews. But of course, it was that one change as well for...
You can hear Sinisha Ganhajic from here.
There's the change as well for St. Albans was Jerome Sharan off, Abdul Malik Saleh on. And still, of course, just the one.
Change is coming now. Number 13, Lackey coming off.
Coming off, number 13, James Lackey. And coming on, number 27, Jack Painter Andrew.
So it was.
JPA's coming on.
Of course, Perth Glory youth player as well, Florian Athena and Bentley Greens as well. So he'll be play against a familiar opponent in Fremantle City on Sunday.
Yeah. Jack Painter Andrews loves playing for the Greek sides, does he?
Well, Bentley Greens technically Cypriot, but...
well. Athena's definitely a Greek side.
Yes, sister clubs of South Melbourne, of course, Florida Athena, as well as many other clubs around Australia, the likes of West Adelaide as well.
The barbecue league once in a while, a long time ago. That's what we call it, with all the Euroses and the Souvlaki sticks going.
And, of course, Bull Jawach comes on for Geordie Swibble.
And we saw that spectacular goal of his the other night.
We did. His first in South Melbourne colours. His first back in Australia as well.
He scored upwards of 20-odd goals in Canada in their league, which was a good little return for him. No doubt he'll be upwards of trying to increase his goal account. Painter Andrews does well. He's trying to find the room. Certainly a free kick there by Gulevsky, who's been probably the best player in my mind for St. Albans.
Substitution for St. Albans Dinamo coming off, number 6, Anthony Levan. And coming on, number 20, Alexander Sevivirovsky.
Alexander Sevidirovsky coming on for Laban, who came off.
Yes.
Mezzaruni, the goal scorer, on the free kick. Trying to get it in between the goalkeeper and that wall there. That's a good ball and cleared away. The shot, charged down away. Twisting, turning, not the greatest clearance. And somehow Marko Bulic mops it up.
Back with St. Albans again, who finds Joe and then goes out wide to Weir, down to Colliner. Again over to Aaron Anderson. We'll just play with the ball on that right-hand side and opt to go through the middle. Under pressure, though, as they look to go long. Chased down by Josh Galevsky and ushered away by Sebastian Pasquale. Of course, still more to come on for South Melbourne, potentially. Paolo Retre on the bench, Andres Kapoulis, and Richard Nkomo. It's Charleston with the goal kick first. And it's taken. Headed down by Lockie Weir. Off to Ichida's head. Down by Abdul Malik Saleh. And it will be out for a throw. Who goes into Colliner. Taken off him is Enrico Mezzaruni, who looks up and he can go himself, but goes around the first, can't get around the second. He's Painter Andrews like with it down the line to Buljuwatch. Just tries a little back heel and bounces the ball off Joseph Colliner. Now for a throw, and you were speaking of the long throw as well. Jack Painter Andrews is a good alternative to Max Mikolot.
And, we know how many goals South have scored with these long throws. Here he is now. A whopping throw. The goalkeeper stayed on his line. Cleared away. And out for a throw-in. We've got 13 minutes of regulation time to go. And whatever the referee decides for extra, as St. Albans now. A good run here, all the way from the back line, but not pulling the trigger. Deep ball in the box, back post is free. And in the end, goal kick to Charleston.
Yeah, I think a great cross in the box by Lockie Weir. And it was a long arching ball as well. And a few numbers at the back post, but no one could really get a connection to that one. Of course, it was an Enrico Mezzaruni brace in the 32nd minute and the 40th minute. So 2 goals in very quick succession.
Ball through to Duac, but not finding an avenue through. Throw into St. Albans. No real synergy in St. Albans' play at the moment. They're really not really punished Charleston at all. They've really rarely seen him in action. It's been predominantly South Melbourne. There's the referee being given there. As I said earlier, next Sunday is the round of 16 clash here, which should see a massive crowd against chance now for South Melbourne. And referee has said play on. Mezzaruni's down. And that was close. Not sure, Ross. You might have to check the check the replay, but looks like a tad late. But the referee was there, in fairness to him. He's basically said no penalty. And if it was, you guaranteed that Dirko Mezzaruni would have asked for that in his hands. Chance now. Thunderous cross. It was almost like a shot ricocheting off Yoshida's head.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a late challenge. I think the referee must have got a better view on it because I can't really tell what really happened for that. But looks like a bit of a, I guess, a 50-50 in the box there. But a substitution will again come on for South Melbourne. Looks like Richard Nkomo.
Double substitution for South Melbourne FC. Coming off, number 16, Aaron Cox. And coming on, number 12, Richard Nkomo. And coming off for South Melbourne FC, number 19, Andrico Mezzaruni. And coming on, number 18, Andre Skopoulos.
Yeah, Andre Skopoulos on the pitch. Along
Richard Nkomo.
Skopoulos already on the pitch, running down the ball like an ever-ready battery.
So that's no hat-trick for Enrico Mezzaruni, but positive to see a very young player in Andre Skopoulos come onto the pitch.
Chance now to go forward. Good turn. Yoshida finding some magic there. Tough ball for Weir. He's gone deep. And some good applause there for Mezzaruni. And a really rash challenge there by Weir, gets the yellow card. And a little bit too late there.
Yeah, it's Seb Pasquale on the floor. He struggled in his career in the past with injury, but he's played the most games he's ever played for one club in a single calendar year, but back up on his feet.
I think he's had one of the better years too.
Yes.
He's been one of the better South Melbourne players. Wouldn't surprise me if he comes close to winning the best and fairest.
Yeah, he should be up there. Of course, he has missed quite a few games due to OFC commitments, but...
Oh, yes. Keep thinking of it as a whole season,
yes,
don't we?
But unfortunately...
Well, the club, it's funny how the club will view it.
Yes,
will they
exactly.
combine all 3 seasons?
Yeah, you think, again, domestically, of course, within the club, he's been one of their best players. Within the NPL, I think maybe South Melbourne's been a bit far-fetched in terms of competitions, like participation-wise, but of course you have to look into them as well. They've been one of the better teams this season, so maybe if they weren't in OFC, the season would be a completely different story.
Certainly, when you when you think of how they were at the end of last season as compared to now, what a turnaround, really. Sinisha Kunhajic has done wonders and some super work there. Getting that ball with the back heel. Magic stuff. Young Skopoulos. You can see what he can do. Phenomenal. And a chance now. He's done it again. Won the ball. And no avenue there, unfortunately. So, trying to play the ball out of the back. This is do or die now for St. Albans.
Is Platt's taken down?
Yeah, that's a fair go too. Buich has quickly come and taken the free kick. What can they do here? Good ball, and that's Gulasevsky. Charge down. Weir trying to be dispossessed. Good work there. Far side of the ground by Cock. And loses the ball. Goal kick. Some shoulder to shoulder there, Ross, and no avenue to goal.
Yeah, I think that substitution of Jack Painter-Andrews has just really shored up their back line and really dealt with Nick Kowak for closing minutes, maybe ensuring that back line don't get complacent, but of course reinforcing everything else. It's good to get, I guess, a couple minutes in the legs before next Sunday for them, and played a full 90 minutes that game, of course.
So if the result stays the way it is, Ross, South Melbourne will go up to 4th, which is slowly building and building on their ladder position. And remember that the top 2 teams have the week off, and the bottom 4 play against each other. The first round of the finals.
Yes, of course, they're 6 points above, I guess, 6-point safety buffer in that finals position, and they do sit 5 points behind Hume City in second, but Preston Lions with a game in hand as well against Melbourne City that they will have to play at some point, and that could move them up to 4th or even 3rd. St Albans as well at the bottom. They do sit 7 points right now, clear of relegation. 3 games to go, so just the 1 win would help them out there.
Skopoulos did well to try and overrun the ball, but good defending in the end. 3 minutes left, Ross on the clock, and whatever the referee decides for extra time. And I'd say that the race is basically won at the moment from what we've seen. South Melbourne have been workmanlike all day. They've tussled away. They've been the stronger team. And St Albans have held them at bay, but it probably could have gone further down hadn't some of the chances been taken. St Albans have had really only maybe 1.5 chances, we'd say.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think they're very lucky to not be on the score sheet at all, to be honest. That opening first 5-10 minutes for them was pretty positive, and I think they'll not really hang their heads in shame, but I think they'll be disappointed with the fact that they weren't able to get on the score sheet. There is still time, of course, but they know what a result would mean to their season, so bit of a late challenge by Jack Painter-Andrews as well, and I think he'll go into the book and it will be a yellow.
Yeah, tell you what, that was a bit harsh. He did get the ball and maybe the follow-through got him, but certainly wasn't intended. Lachlan Weir trying to run it off. And some good sportsmanship by both of them, waving at each other and saying no drama. That's what you want to see. So, no games next week, as we said, as St Albans go forward. Goal kick. No games next week. But what we are looking at the week after is going to be interesting.
Of Of course, it's at Doherty Cup as well on Saturday. Preston Lions take on Heidelberg here at Lakeside Stadium. 5 p.m. that kickoff for them. Should be a great game as well for the neutral.
And I'll tell you what, taking a glance to the New South Wales Premier League, Olympics seem like they're in the whims of being relegated,
Yes,
which would be absolutely horrendous for them.
Of course. Australian Championship Foundation Club as well, so see what complications
They're losing
that has.
currently against the top team, 2-1. Apia Leichhardt ahead. So something really that they'd be ruining.
4 games to go for them. Just 1 point behind that relegation playoff spot. As Kowick has to beat Yanakopoulos here on that left-hand side. And goes backwards to Separovsky. And the fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes to be added on this game.
There'll be a minimum of 4 minutes of added time.
As Platt turns to Kowick, who will slot the through ball through, but Pasquale again, the resolute centre midfielder, has ensured that there's no passage through and goes out for a throw.
The next week's games, the next round of games, we've got Dandenong City versus Altona Magic, Oakley Cannons versus Green Gully at home, St Albans Bentley. Now that's a big game for Bentley, no doubt. Melbourne City versus South Melbourne. Heidelberg Hume, which is a Caroline Springs Avondale, another big game. And Preston versus Dandy Thunder as South Melbourne go forward. Can they find an opening? No, not the greatest ball in. The big game's going to be South Melbourne and Heidelberg back here on the 23rd of August. That's going to be a huge game for both sides. Local derby, and no doubt something that needs to be viewed. And the last weekend, like you said, some interesting games, but more so Heidelberg playing Bentley. Now, imagine Bentley needs to win that game to stay up. Well, it's going to be very, very interesting. As the high boots gone up there. Something to look forward to for the next month of football here.
Just about 2 minutes gone in additional time as well to remain, as Yanakopoulos goes over to Painter Andrews. Back to Yanakopoulos, the July Rising Star. Of course, the June Rising Star in Anthony Laban is just been substituted off, but Mikel Platt now will try find an open up for St Albans. Hassan Ramazani slides in, goes over to Pasquale. Now to you. Pasquale again. Back to Yanakopoulos. Painter Andrews with the turn.
Geez, he's played well since he's come on, isn't it?
He has, very well. He's really kept Nick Kowick at bay as Richard Nkomo tries to chase that ball down, but it will be a throw-in nonetheless.
It's been a strong midfield display by South Melbourne today, and that's probably what's won them the game. Yeah. Barring any disasters, which doesn't look like.
I think we'll
strong,
be okay.
Very strong display. Duach thought his Christmases came at once, running into goal there. And now the crispy moment of the weather. Once that sun goes down, it does get a little bit chilly here at Lakeside. As We await the minutes to tick away. Can't be too much longer to go. Mouth-watering last 3 games left in this Senol NPL League. And South Melbourne winning the game 2-0.
Next up, Fremantle City in the Heart Australia Cup next Sunday, the 9th of August at 7:45 p.m. Tickets will be available and on sale from tomorrow. Please be across all the South Melbourne Instagram, Facebook and Twitter channels for more details. Let's go Hellas!
As Neil screams out about the game next week, but the game here today, we have seen South Melbourne pretty comfortably in the end, Ross, winning 2-0, 2 special goals by Andrew Mezzaruni, and in the end they were enough to see it through here at Lakeside for the home side, and stills them at 4th position and puts St Albans in a bit of bother trying to avoid that relegation spot. As in the background, Ross, you hear my band singing the title song. Something that was written years back. Anyway, South Melbourne here. Ross, been great doing the game with you.
Thank you.
And
you too.
Absolute pleasure. And all the supporters there watching the game, both St Albans and South Melbourne supporters, thank you for your company. And we hope to see you in a fortnight for the resumption of the NPL. Thank you and goodbye.